All right, y'all. I want to bust down this full moon lunar eclipse. You know, the lunar eclipse is in Taurus, 27 degrees Taurus, but because it's a full moon, the energy of the solar point, which would be the sun and Scorpio, is where the effect's going to be at. So wherever 27 degrees Taurus and Scorpio are at in your chart, that's the area you want to focus and unravel the information of how this eclipse energy can benefit you or how it may create seemingly adverse situations that force you to grow. So the sign of Taurus is about money. It's also about stubbornness. It's about, assets and resources, material wealth. As you look on the map here, this shadow area, excuse me, is where the eclipse shadow is going to fall in the planet. You know, so you may see things coming about, mining in Antarctica and things like that because Scorpio rules mining. You may see oil spills on the coast where they drill oil on the coast because Scorpio rules hidden underground resources. Um, More importantly, you see a lot of the area below the equator is being covered, and I feel like this is gonna bring about some big change in financial adaptations in South America, parts of the Caribbean, West Africa, South Africa, Australia, and the Pacific Islands. Um, I think there's going to be a very, very distinct, you know, changes in how natural resources are used and being made available. Um, in your personal chart, in your personal chart, you know, wherever Scorpio is at in your chart, you're not just dealing with your own passions and desires. You're dealing with, in depth, where you need to dive deep and find yourself the most. So if you got, this eclipse happening in your first house, if the sun in Scorpio at 27 degrees is in your first house, this is going to affect your personality. It's going to affect, you know, how you present yourself to the world. It may be bring out some of your jealous and possessive uh, characteristics, or it may bring out some of your deeper understanding. It's a choice. It's really a choice. And the second house is going to reflect on your personal resources and your value systems, your own possessions. Something you lost 18 months ago, might pop up, a opportunity that you lost to invest or make some money, or some money that you lost. It may pop up in the next, in the next few months because the eclipse, that energy goes out for about 6 months to a year. But the second house, the third house is dealing with your thoughts and your community issues with your siblings. Fourth house, things with your dad, your home. If the eclipse is in your the sun is in your sun for the eclipse is going to be in your fourth house. You might have issues with your plumbing going bad, things like that may be highlighted and come back up. Again, this is a full moon lunar eclipse. About 18 months ago, it was a new moon, and the things that happened during May of 2020 are gonna come out. Things that happened in May of 2020, a lot of secrets are gonna come out, especially dealing with the United States government, military, publishers, and things like that. Newspapers, unions, police unions, police officers, military, um, inner workings of the government. Things are about to come out. Things are about to come out. You know, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing because you can't change stuff if stuff stays concealed. So don't get shook up about the things that's going on. The fifth house, it's going to talk about, it's going to bring about fruition of investments you made 18 months ago, whether it's in stock or gambling or, you know, how you market and promote yourself, or even how you invest in your children. You know, those things are going to be in the forefront. If you got children, that eclipse is going to highlight your kids. Sixth house is going to highlight your health, your well-being, your work, the service you provide to the world. Seventh house, your marriage, relationship, you know, partnerships, people you go to, advice, legal issues. The eighth house, the resources of others, any type of surgical procedures you had 18 months ago. If you were having, complications, whatever is causing the complications is going to come to the forefront. It's going to be brought to the light by this eclipse. The ninth house, it deals with long distance travel, higher education, you know, legal matters, faith and belief. So, if the sun is in your, if the eclipse, the sun from the eclipse, so tomorrow the eclipse will be at 27 degrees Scorpio. If the sun is in the ninth house in your chart by transit, you're gonna find some spiritual things starting to happen in your life over the next year. 10th house is going to be career, your public image. 11th house is going to be your social environment, the money you get from your career, the value you find in your job. You might feel like that, your job ain't as rewarding as you thought it was, and change your career based on that. you know, or the 12th house has to deal with, secret enemies, you know, retreating from the world to find yourself and heal and rejuvenate, you know, and if you have allies overseas, they'll be able to help you with that 12th house eclipse. They're going to be highlighted. Um, Again, Taurus eclipse, you're going to see some financial changes, man. You see some financial changes. And Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is Capricorn. Venus is in Capricorn right now, transiting through Capricorn. So that's gonna, kind of cloud cloud how the financial system is gonna be, affected. Capricorn is a sign of tradition and things like that. So with Venus being trine Uranus, it's going to be easy to transition from traditional currency to digital currency and alternative, you know, financial standards. Look for it. Look for that over the next year. Most of South America, most of South America, West Africa, Central and South Africa, all the way to Australia and the Pacific. Look for them to adapt. Look for them to adapt to digital currency and stuff, man. You know, this is gonna be big. This is gonna be big, man. It's gonna be a big financial leap, big technological leaps. You know, reflecting on how technology can, solve financial problems for disenfranchised, communities. You're about to see it, man. This next year is gonna be revolutionary. And I'm not talking about bombs and guns. I'm talking about like in thinking patterns and how people relate to each other and empathize with each other and things like that, man. The eclipse is going to square the moon in the United States natal chart. The moon in the third house. So you may see some real, attempts to crack down on the internet and things like that, because the moon is in Aquarius in the United States, third house of communication, you know, and that reflects on how, the United States really plays on the imaginative faculties of its citizens, and kind of, distorts reality. And you'll start to observe how and why certain people want to regulate the internet and what information you get in the blockchain and things like this, because the United States second house cusp has Capricorn on it. So the values are more stern and cold and traditional, do as I say, not as I do, patriarchal society. And this eclipse, although it's gonna sextile Pluto, Pluto triggers change. Pluto triggers change, man. And a lot of people don't want this change, but they're not gonna be able to stop it. They're not gonna be able to stop this change, man. This eclipse is gonna bring some powerful shit. And definitely, look look for 27 degrees Scorpio and 27 degrees Taurus in your chart. Find out where it's at and drop it in the comments, and I'll elaborate a little deeper for you. Not no whole chart reading, but I'll talk a little bit deeper because it'll give insight in for everybody. Um definitely take heed and tap into this energy, man, to find your hidden resources. You know, eclipse with the solar point in Scorpio is a good time to shine light, like the bat signal on your hidden power, release old trauma. This is a good fucking eclipse, man. And it can either hurt you or benefit you, because Pluto rules Scorpio, and Pluto don't play no games. Transform or get destroyed. Yep. Interesting, man. Real interesting, because a lot of planets are gonna hit on this eclipse over the next 3 years. Jupiter in Aquarius later on this year is gonna make a station, uh, square that eclipse point. You know, and that square is gonna encourage people to, probably in a rough way, for those who don't want to adapt, because squares force you to change, or you're gonna run and change direction, or you're gonna run into a wall. So Jupiter squaring that eclipse point, you're gonna see an expansion of technology and inspiration in technology, an abundance of innovation. Really, 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 triggering transitions. Um, the good thing for the United States is that Jupiter will be in the third house, not the second house, when it squares that eclipse point. But it's definitely gonna affect the financial situation with the dollar. But next year, Saturn will be hitting on that eclipse point. Saturn rules the United States, rules the United States money house, man. That second house. So if they fail to adapt and get on board with this crypto thing, that square by Saturn is gonna put such a hurting on that economy, man. It's gonna put a hurting on the economy that they're gonna have to adapt. So you might as well change willfully. You change willfully, other rather than forcefully, because it's coming. You know, it's coming. Yep, the sun to be sextile the United States Pluto, the moon to be sextile the moon to be trine Pluto. So you're gonna be getting some good action, man, good action. Make sure you look at your charts, man.